Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Eleutheria. I'm just going to give people some time to actually join the stream, and then we're going to get down to it into talking about homeschooling, what your options are as parents at the moment. Given that schools went back, grade 7s and matrics have gone back as of yesterday. I thought this was a good time to do this stream because parents would have an idea of what's going on at children's schools and what they're doing in terms of the new normal protocols and stuff like that. So some parents might not be comfortable with that. So yeah, we just wanted to have a little sit down and chat about that. First of all, I just want to let all my viewers know that although I am a homeschooling mom, I'm not laughing because you all have been forced to homeschool for the last 3 months. Homeschooling is a choice, and it's quite often a lifestyle choice. And it took us 4 years of deliberating about homeschooling before we actually took the plunge. So for you to suddenly find yourself thrown into this thing that you didn't choose and you have no idea how to do, and you probably never ever wanted to do, that's not fair. And at Eleutheria, we believe in freedom of choice. We don't believe that forcing people to do anything is fair at all. So yeah, I just want parents to know that as much as I advocate for homeschooling freedoms, I advocate for parents to have a choice in the matter. And I think with the conditions and everything that is coming into play, parents don't have as much choice as they had before the lockdown, before SARS-CoV-2 and COVID-19 became a thing. Parents have far fewer choices. And pretty much the Department of Basic Education has told you that your children will come back to school under our rules, or you can register to homeschool. And registering to homeschool also curtails a lot of your homeschooling freedoms, which is why I wanted to do this stream in order to help people navigate what those choices actually are. So without further ado, I'm going to hop to it. I found quite a bit of interesting information this week. And so I wanted to, I'm just going to share my screen with y'all so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. So here we have a website that is South African Homeschool Curriculum. And somebody wrote an article, must you register for homeschooling? Registering for homeschooling is not a simple matter. In her address on the reopening of schools, Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga said that no one would be forced to return to school. Parents can keep their children at home if they register for home education. Unfortunately, that is not a simple legal matter or an easy process. Now, I'm not going to bore everybody by reading through the entire thing that is written here. But what I will do is I'm going to link this link to it was Shirley Irwia that wrote this article. She's a homeschooling mom of many, many years of experience. And she also has the Footprints on Our Land homeschooling curriculum, which is listed here. So I'm going to link you to this article so that you can read it, because she gives solid advice with regards to registering for homeschooling and the fact that you might lose your place in your child's school if you don't decide to continue homeschooling. And that's quite simply, the Department of Education cannot refuse your child a place in their school if they have place in their school for your child to return from, or like when you decide that you're comfortable sending your child back to school. Um, the department has to accept them back in. They have to, and they have to take them back in the grade that they would be had they, continued with school and passed. And only if it is found that your child really has fallen behind can they then either make them go back a grade or just keep them back for that grade and get them up to standard. These are all terms that, as homeschoolers, we don't buy into that. As homeschoolers, we believe that assessments are to measure a teacher's ability of teaching and a school's ability of providing a quality education. Assessments are very rarely give a clear indication of how much your child has learnt. So, so I posted that comment, the link to that article in the comments in the live chat, which will be available on the replay. So you can just open the live chat and you'll be able to click on that link to go and read that article by Shirley Eleutheria. I'm sorry, Shirley, if I'm pronouncing your surname incorrectly. I only know you as a name on Facebook and on various websites. Then the next website I want to share with you, because Shirley also mentions them in her article, is the Pestalozzi Trust. Now, the Pestalozzi Trust is a homeschooling legal defense fund, and families can join them for, I'm pretty sure the annual fee is still under R1,000 a year for an entire family. And then what happens is, if you come into conflict with the Department of Basic Education over how you are homeschooling your children, and the fact that you haven't registered and asked for permission from the government, they will intervene on your behalf. It's a legal defense fund, so everybody's funds get paid into a trust account, and then when anybody has legal battles, it gets paid out of this trust account. And they are very active in advocating for homeschooling freedoms to remain in place in South Africa, because pre-1994 South Africa, homeschooling was illegal, and it was legalized in 1996, but under strict guidance. And at the moment, government actually is trying to take away even more of those homeschooling freedoms. So Pestalozzi Trust also keeps its members apprised of those developments. So I strongly suggest, if you're considering homeschooling, to please go and give them their website a read. Reading their website is what gave us the confidence as a family to take the plunge and just start homeschooling. Pull our kid out of school. We only had one child in mainstream school at the time. Our sons were not of school age yet. And so we pulled her out of mainstream schooling, and we went in the middle of the year. It wasn't even a question. The Pestalozzi Trust has also revised a lot of the stuff on their website to make it more relevant for parents that are now wanting to homeschool in light of what is going on because of the pandemic. So the advice that is on their website there now is not the same as what I read 3 years ago. I think we've been homeschooling for 3 years. So that link is also in the live chat. It'll be a clickable link that'll take you to their website that you can peruse and make an informed decision from there. And then there might be some early childhood development parents that are watching, and I'm not going to put you through the horror of hearing me read Afrikaans with my English accent. So I'm just going to link you to this article on Marula Media. Solidariteit has taken the government to court. Well, they're taking the government to court on the 23rd of June. They're taking the Department of Social Development to court over allowing early childhood development, private early childhood development centers to reopen. So that is, I will link you to that article. And I'm sure even if you can't read Afrikaans, if you can't comprehend Afrikaans, Google might translate the article for you. They'll probably get quite a few words wrong, but I'm sure you'll get the gist. So that is in the live chat. I'll probably also add these links to the description of the video after the live, once it is processed. So that's good news in terms of getting preschool children back to school, because yes, it's very frustrating. A lot of parents have returned to work. They've gone. A lot of parents have gone back to work, and they've got nowhere to send their children because only grade 7s and matrics are back at school. There's no aftercare. And there's millions and millions of children that don't have daycare. There's nothing happening for parents that might be able to go back to work under level 3. So I think it's great that civil society organizations like Solidariteit are taking government to court over things like this. Another thing I feel it's probably important to address in this stream is, what curriculum should you use? And the short answer to that is, I don't know, because I don't know your family. I don't know what style of learning might be suitable to each child in your family, and what might be good for you to try. What I do know is that on the Pestalozzi website and on the South African homeschooling curriculums website, the curriculums, there are links to where curriculums have been curated all into one place for you, so that you can overview all of the available curriculums in South Africa, and you can go to the websites and you can check pricing and what curriculum exactly it is and how it works. Is it web-based? Do they send out workbooks? What is the story? So there's a lot, all of that information is available on the links that I have linked in the live chat, as well as the stuff that has been, I'll put it in the video description as well. So you can go and give that a look. I'm not going to bang on about what curriculum I use and why I use it and things like that, because that is not what this channel is about. This channel is about liberties being under attack, and that's why I've started this channel. I talk about all things that are related to liberty and freedom Eleutheria is the Greek word for freedom, and that is why I decided to call this channel Eleutheria. Whilst I'm on the topic of talking about my channel, I just wanted to give a huge thanks to Joe Emilio once again, who has done all the artwork for my channel. I'm super, super grateful that he donated his clever skills to me. I just want to see if there are any comments from any viewers. If you have any questions, please pop them in the live chat and we can have a talk about any questions or concerns that you might be having. Yes, Eleutheria is about liberty, so I'm not going to talk about curriculums. That is not what Eleutheria is about. We are purely talking about your freedom of choice to educate your children in the way that you want to educate your children. I get very irritated with the South African government, who at every chance that they can get, they are trying to take the well-being of children out of the hands of their parents and make it the responsibility of government. It has been widely publicized or made quite clear in the legislation that they want to amend in terms of education, specifically with regards to homeschooling and how government schools, school governing bodies are run, that they want to have oversight in those areas, and they believe that children are a ward of the state, and that the parents' freedom of choice with regards to how they raise those children and how they educate those children is not important. And that to me is, it's not Eleutheria. Plain and simple. It's not Eleutheria. So, that's why you won't hear me talking about curriculums on this channel. If the homeschooling series becomes popular and you would like me to get curriculum owners, curriculum sellers onto the show to talk about their curriculum, I'll do that. I'll do that with the greatest of pleasure. I'll get whoever you want to talk to in the homeschooling space. I can get on the channel. Well, I can ask them if they would like to come and talk on the channel. So that's about as close to talking about curriculums as I'm going to get. I'm not going to sit here and say, this is how I homeschool and this is how you should homeschool because it works for me. Because you know what I try with one kid doesn't work with all of my other children. That makes it sound like I have 3 children. And what worked with one, it doesn't necessarily interest the other one, and I have to look at things a different way. So the best thing I can say to you right now is that we follow an eclectic approach to homeschooling. And I source free and cheap homeschooling resources as and when I need to. Like when I need my children to learn to read, then I find a good reading program. When I need my children to learn math, then I find a good math program or whatever. Sometimes we do a bit of unit study work, and those are all different styles of homeschooling that you will learn about once you start reading up about homeschooling. I do believe that at this stage, many South African families are crisis schooling, because basically you were told 2 days before the fact that your children would be breaking up from school on the 18th of March, and they were, which was 2 days before the end of term, so we already cut 2 days off that term, and then 10 days after that we were locked down. and there was no indication of when the children would actually be going back to school. So I do believe that parents have been thrown in the deep end. The department has not been very open towards schools providing online schooling and things like that. And that's because, quite simply, they don't want to make homeschooling easy for parents because they are vehemently opposed to homeschooling. They do not like homeschooling. So they don't want to make it easy for you. They don't want you to realize that, hey, hang on a minute, I actually enjoy teaching my kids. And it's not as hard as I thought it would be. Government doesn't want you to realize that. That's why not all schools send work home for pupils. So yes. And on that bombshell, I don't have any questions in the live chat. If anybody's viewing and has any questions, please do pop them in the live chat. Otherwise, I will be signing off. If there's anything from anybody. Okay. Well, I don't like dead air anybody any more than the next person does. So I am going to sign off. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight. If you catch the replay and you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And apparently, if you click on the like button, it does help YouTube promote my video to other people who might be interested in it. And also, share this video with your friends. Let them know that there is somebody out there who actually has quite a bit of good information and links to quite a few good resources. And just share this video with them so that they can also find some homeschooling freedom, or homeschooling Eleutheria, as I like to say. On Thursday, I'm going to be sitting down. See what I did there, Joe? I'll be sitting down with Joe Emilio, and we'll be talking about diversifying your income, which I think has become a lot more necessary in the times of COVID-19 and lockdown. So we'll be chatting about different ways that you can diversify your income streams, and a little bit about state proofing your income. And that's probably also going to turn into a series of live streams. Joe is also going live with Ramon Kabanak this evening. And he will be on at 8:30 this evening. Oh, Joe's here. Joe does have a question. I was grabbing a link. That's why I couldn't see you asking your question, Joe. I was grabbing a link to your show with Ramon Kabanak at 8:30. Please do come join us on Joe's show a little bit later. I'm not seeing Joe's question come in yet. I just actually want to check that I am getting all the questions. Okay, Joe, I do think maybe you still have internet problems, so that's why your question's not coming through. Okay, if you are having homeschooling, I'm sure that's not quite what you mean. if you are homeschooling, what is the most challenging aspect of it in your opinion? Okay, well, right now, the most challenging aspect of it is that we can't do the usual social meetups that we normally do go to. So my children are incredibly frustrated and they're incredibly bored because, quite honestly, when you homeschool, what takes them 6 hours to do in an educational institution where there's like upwards of 30, 40 kids in a class, at home only takes them 2 to 3 hours. So at the moment they're missing their friends, they're missing family, extended family. Um, with regards to challenges under normal circumstances, it varies. It varies from day to day because like any time, you're going to have you're going to have an off day. Mom's going to have an off day, dad's going to have an off day, and all of your kids might have an off day. And they might just not want to sit down and do the work. And honestly, the best thing I can say about that is, just go with the flow. And always bear in mind that when you homeschool, you have 365 days in your school year, not 180 like schools. You have almost double the amount of school days, and look for the learning opportunities in the tiny things, in the tiny, tiny things. If you're struggling with your children to want to learn how to do what's 2 plus 2, for example, take them outside and tell them to pick you 2 flowers. And then they go and pick 2 leaves. And then you put them together and you count 1, 2, 3, 4. So, like, just thinking outside of the box in terms of how you can teach concepts, that sort of thing. That's what I think would be challenging. And then Joe has a follow-up question. Also, if not all of us are qualified to be teachers, how would you suggest people can overcome that? I'm not a qualified teacher. I'm not a qualified teacher. However, I've been teaching my children how to do stuff since they were born. My children learned how to speak by copying me. My children learned how to sit because their muscles got stronger and I gave them, I supported them with different aids that taught them, and eventually they got the core strength to hold themselves upright. My children learned how to walk because they copied us, and once their muscles had developed to that point, they could walk. So I think to get that out of your head, that you're not a teacher, that you can't teach your children, just remember that you taught them up until they were 5 years old before you sent them to grade R. And then you handed over that responsibility to somebody else because society has programmed you to believe that you cannot do this. And yeah, you know what? I wouldn't want to teach matric math right now because it's been a very, very, very long time since I did matric math. And I passed, but I mean, I wasn't an A+ student. So in that case, there are tons of online curriculums. There are what we call cottage schools, which are also known as informal schools or unregistered educational centers. This is something that is covered in depth, well, as far as they can on the Pestalozzi website without getting too many people in trouble. So, but it is an option. You can also send your children to a much smaller private school where they actually use these online curriculums and teach your children that way. Joe asked, could you not have homeschool classes, for example, tutors that some parents pay for extra lessons. Could we not use those tutors and have maybe Zoom meetings? Absolutely. This is definitely all options, and I'm sure that it probably is happening exactly like that, having Zoom tutor meetings as opposed to going to people's homes or to learning centers or whatever for these sort of things to happen. Definitely. The definition of homeschooling is a child that is educated in their own home, in their primary residence, where they live with their parent or guardian. It does not specify who provides that education. As a parent, if you feel like you are not qualified or don't have the time or whatever to teach your children, you may hire a tutor, you may hire an au pair, you may hire whoever you want to provide the education to your children. So long as they are being educated in their own home, they are homeschooled. And that is how the law in South Africa recognizes homeschooling. So I think that I covered it, the questions. Oh, my son again coming to tell me that he loves me whilst I'm live on air. So, Joe, thank you very much for those questions. They were very good. Joe is going live soon on his channel, and he's got Ramon Kavanagh from the Morning Shot channel and also Renegade Report. And he is one of the founding members of the ZACP, the Purple Cow Party. So that's going to be an interesting show. I'm looking forward to that. And then also tomorrow night, not tomorrow night, although Joe is also live streaming tomorrow night because he's a flippin' machine and he does one every night. Thursday night, before Joe does his show, he's coming on this show and we're going to talk about diversifying income streams. And I do have a link to that, so I'm just looking for it. And whilst I make an absolute fool of myself trying to figure out how to use a computer, we shall wait for some more questions to come in, just in case there are any more questions. There we go, found it. Copy. There's no description on this video yet, so that's just the link. Joe says, interesting. He says, thank you. Thank you for your questions, Joe. They were like pretty obvious ones. I should have thought of them. Should have had like pre-prepared answers done. I'm looking forward to having you, Joe. I think it's going to be a load of fun. I don't want to script it too much. Like, I just want us to talk like we were talking the other night about different stuff we can do to make money and different stuff we are doing to make money. So, yeah. Okay. There haven't been any other questions, so that's cool. Just once again, in the live chat replay, which won't be available straight away after this video, but it will eventually be available, but I will add these to the video description. All of these links is what I spoke about in the video. Will probably help you quite a bit. I hope this video does help other families that might be struggling through crisis schooling. And yeah, let's try and get our choices back in terms of education. And yes, thank you very much, everybody who's tuned in and maybe found the replay. Don't forget to head over to Joe's show, which is linked in the live chat. But Joe Emilio, just look for that channel, Joe Emilio. and he will be having an interesting chat with Ramon Kavanagh, I think. Like the stream. I could scream. Probably won't be nice, but like the stream if you found it informative and valuable, because that does prompt YouTube to promote it to other people as well. Please share it with your friends, family, even your enemies. We're all sitting with the same lack of choices, so share the information around. And yeah, I'll catch you here next time, Thursday night, 7 p.m. Joe Emilio and Beth are talking about diversifying income streams. Sounds like we want to try and sell you something, doesn't it? But that's not what's going to happen. So cheers, everybody. Take care.